What's up, guys? Telemental Magician here again. Today we are going to talk about the Magician Tarot card. Now, first, on the Magician, you have a man. His posture has one arm to the heavens and one arm down to the earth, which is kind of representative of his ability to take messages that are given in his mind and manifest them here on earth. We'll get into that again later. We also have his table, which has it has a representation of each element on it. Earth, wind, water, fire. These represent the tools he uses, the resources he has available to him immediately in order to make his goals happen. He doesn't worry too much about trying to get new things, trying to get new stuff to make his goals work. He takes what he has right at this moment and he makes it happen. You also have the infinity symbol above his head and on his belt, kind of the serpent, which represents kind of the infinite intelligence, the cosmic creativity, the just source that is always and forever. You also have these flowers in the background, or in the foreground, I'm sorry, that represent blossoming, that represent growth, and represent just making seeds turn into flowers and just making things grow. All right. So first, when you pull the Magician, you just think creativity. Like the Magician is the ultimate alchemist. He turns base metals into gold, both literally and metaphorically. So like you just take thought and you turn it into material wealth, into happiness, into whatever you desire. The Magician says you have all the tools you need already at your disposal. You don't need to go searching for more stuff. You don't need to spend painstaking hours reading a whole bunch of theory books whenever you can just go practice. You can go use the tools you got, use the knowledge you have, use the elements, and you can make what you want happen without really much effort. The Magician doesn't need to put much effort in. He's confident in his ability. He knows what he wants. He puts a plan in place and he utilizes all his tools, all the stuff in his tool belt, all his ideas, and he is somehow able to act as a conduit from source, from inspiration and vision into material wealth, into material gain, into a blossoming love, into whatever. He has this connection to source, but he listens to it and he uses the inspiration or whatever is given to him by source, and he is able to translate that into a more material thing, into a business, into a relationship, or anything like that. The Magician asks you to be flexible, less controlled about stuff, because he has just this confidence, and that's how he makes things happen. Whenever the Magician's energy is working in you, you just are easily able to do stuff. It just clicks. It's that click moment, that aha moment where you just know, and you don't really have to try too hard. If you're trying too hard, try to be a little bit less flexible whenever the Magician shows up, or be a little more flexible. I'm sorry. It's a card of just moving forward and knowing and being confident in your abilities, being confident in what you have at your disposal, and knowing that you'll be able to manifest whatever you want. Just stay focused on your goals. You want to be flexible, but not too much. As all energy has poles, so just stay flexible, but stay eyes on the prize. And the Magician's energy will carry you all the way to the end for sure. You want to kind of treat stuff as an experiment a little bit, which kind of builds onto that less controlled stuff. Like, don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to try, if you're like a boss or something, try pairing certain people together, or just try putting yourself into different situations, seeing how you'll react, seeing how your surroundings will react to you. Just don't be afraid to try new things and use all the tools. Like, use your mind. Think, what do I have at my disposal? What can I use to make this happen? How can I use what I already have instead of having to get new things, instead of having to spend more money? How can you use what you already have in order to make what you want, manifest what you want, rather? There is the reverse side of this. So if you pull the Magician in the reversed, you're too focused. You can be too focused on yourself. You're not giving thought to other people's ideas, other people's needs. You're kind of just pushing forward, and you might be blind to what other people need, or you might just be feeling overconfident in yourself whenever it's not really justified. Um, you're too controlling. You're too controlling. You just can't see outside of yourself, and that's a big problem whenever you pull the magician in reverse. It can also mean you're being tricked. So like imagine you have a real magician who makes things happen in life, who makes good things happen, and then you have cheap magicians who use cheap tricks in order to rob you. So that's kind of like the energy of the magician when you pull it in the reversed format, because you can be being tricked like you could be thinking something's real, but really it's a huge illusion. So beware of being tricked. It can be especially in love, like in love matters. Your partner can be tricking you or whatever. So just beware and remember to think for yourself, and be aware that you could be being tricked if you pull the magician in reverse. There's a big side of deception in this card, so beware of that. It can also mean you're wasting talent, you're wasting your gifts. So like if you have all these gifts that you're not using, it's a waste. So if you're in reverse, the magician asks you to, or the magician in reverse would ask you to kind of look at what you have, make sure you're not wasting certain aspects of yourself. If you're trying to manifest this goal, you're trying to make magic happen, you're trying to be a conduit from source, and just pull inspiration from the heavens, but you can't quite seem to do it. Just look at the whole situation again and make sure you're not wasting a part of your abilities, or wasting like a resource that you have. Maybe you need help. Maybe you need a friend to help, like look at the big picture, and you're being selfish and not like helping anyone else. You're not letting anyone else help you. So look into that if you pull the magician in reverse, especially if you're having trouble in like a relationship, or in trying to manifest a goal, like a career goal. Just try to see the big picture. Try to make sure you're not just being closed-minded and going a certain way when there's other routes available to you. You also could be having like a low confidence if you pull the magician in reverse. The magician and upright is big with like being confident in your abilities. So if you are feeling low, not confident, just try to reassure yourself. Try to do maybe a little bit more research, and just make yourself more confident in what you want. Make yourself more sure, because the magician has a clear vision of what he wants. He has a clear goal, and he uses the stuff around him to make it happen. So if you're not able to make it happen, try to make like just define your goal, make sure it's right, make sure it is in line with your higher self. Because if it's not, you get that reverse magician stuff. You're starting to deceive yourself again. You're starting to chase an illusion. So you want to make sure you're not doing that. You want to make sure these goals are in line with your higher self. But yeah, that's about it. The overall energy of the magician is great. It means you're creative. It means the juices are flowing. Just remember not to get overconfident. Remember not to let yourself become too absorbed into your goals. Let yourself and just be in line with your higher self when you're trying to manifest these things. But the overall energy of the magician is great, and he helps a lot of people. All the greatest creators and successful people all definitely utilize a little bit of the magician's energy, or more likely a lot of the magician's energy in their pursuits. It's a good card. So happy reading. See y'all.